Okay, I'll take a motion to exit the closed session discussion and to re-enter the open work session.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Okay, if there is no other business in the work session, I'll take a motion to adjourn the work session.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra.
I would just leave them. Thank you.
Judy said yes.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
All right, the motion's adjourned. Are we ready for the business meeting?
Let's go.
Little discount. The regular business meeting of the Wyckoff Township Committee for November 14th, 2022 is now in session. If everyone will rise for a flag salute, I will lead, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing, please, for a brief invocation. God in heaven, we ask your blessing on us here tonight. We ask that you watch over all officials who were elected and re-elected in our nation last Tuesday. We ask that in the pursuit of their duties of serving the public, you give them temperance and wisdom and collegiality and the ability to carry forth their duties. We also ask that you be with the members of our town hall family who will be traveling this week and bring us all home safely at week's end. In your name, amen.
Amen.
This regular business meeting of the Township Committee of the Township of Wyckoff is now in session. In accordance with Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, I wish to advise that notice of this meeting has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall and on our Township Committee website page. A copy has been filed with the municipal clerk, and copies were emailed to the Ridgewood News, the Record, and to the North Jersey Herald News, all newspapers with general circulation throughout the Township of Wyckoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda was similarly posted, filed, and emailed to said newspapers.
Thank you. Cool.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Here.
And Mayor Boonstra.
Here.
Here.
We're all here.
Same thing.
Still.
Okay, I'll take a motion to open the business meeting for public comment, 5 minutes per speaker, on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of Wyckoff.
So move.
Second, we have to vote.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Thank you. If you have a comment, please step forward. If you are not here, you can call 201-891-7000, extension 2220, if you wish to make a comment remotely.
Hi.
You're on.
Good evening, members of Wyckoff Township Committee. Great to see you all. My name is Eileen Alvarez. I live at 156 Langlitz Road, Westtown, New York. I was raised in Franklin Lakes, and I graduated from Ramapo High School. I'm here to express that and also I have immediate family that own business and property in Wyckoff. I'm here to express that I would like Wyckoff to reconsider allowing cannabis businesses in its town. I'll set forth to tell you what qualifies me to be here speaking to you on the matter, several therapeutic benefits of cannabis, and why cannabis businesses will be a good thing for Wyckoff. I graduated from the University of Maryland, College Park in 2019 with a double major in biochemistry and physiology and neurobiology. My first job out of college was at a cannabis testing laboratory in Maryland. At this lab, we were responsible for analyzing cannabis and cannabis-containing products to ensure it was safe for consumers. This entailed testing for microbial, heavy metals, pesticides, terpenes, and potency. I became an integral part of the company and helped establish labs in Florida, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. While I was working full-time, I enrolled in the Medical Cannabis Science and Therapeutics Masters of Science program at the University of Maryland, Baltimore, and graduated in May of this year. I am also a licensed hemp cultivator in the state of New York. I've been fortunate enough to participate in the cannabis industry in several states, which has given me a unique perspective. The use of cannabis for medicinal purposes has been documented since 2800 BC. Present day, cannabis has been reported to be beneficial in the treatment of arthritis, chronic pain, anxiety, PTSD, chemotherapy-induced side effects, autism spectrum disorder, phantom limb syndrome/pain, preventing seizures, inflammation reduction, and more. I once met a young gentleman who was working towards becoming a police officer before he was struck by a car and had to undergo many surgeries and have several metal plates and screws implanted in his body. His doctors prescribed opioids for his pain, but before it was too late, he switched to cannabis because he experienced firsthand how addictive and dangerous opioids are, and it was leading him down a path he did not want to go down. In my master's program, there was a mother who has an adult son with severe autism. It was difficult to hear her recount how everyone in her house would have to wear helmets because of her son's aggressive and violent outbursts. It was not until she started giving her son cannabis that she was finally able to live in her own house without having to wear a helmet. From this last case, I have omitted the mother's struggle in not only obtaining medicinal cannabis, but having to make her own oils with different concentrations because it was not readily available to her. There are countless stories like this. Allowing cannabis businesses in Wyckoff will provide its townspeople with the opportunity to acquire alternative medicine without having to travel to other towns. This will greatly benefit the older population who do not feel comfortable driving long distances. It will also create job opportunities for those interested in business, medicine, science, or horticulture, as well as generate a lot of tax revenue that can be directed towards the town's need. For example, the town of Lodi approved cannabis businesses and implemented the Cannabis Transfer Act tax in August 2022. The first check they received was for over $70,000. There's only one cannabis business in Lodi, an alternative treatment center. Furthermore, the municipality has a say over who operates in their town. Not only does an applicant have to get approval by the state to acquire a cannabis license, which involves submitting a business plan, security plans, and background checks, among other requirements, but must also have zoning approval. This shall consist of a letter or affidavit from appropriate municipal officials that the location will conform to municipal zoning requirements, allowing for activities related to the operations of the proposed cannabis business. The New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission has set forth regulations that applicants and businesses must adhere to, one of which is that the business must be compliant with local codes and ordinances for the proposed location, including the distance from the closest place used exclusively for religious worship, like a church, and the distance from the closest school, playground, park, or child daycare facility. To summarize my public comment, I am a well-educated individual with years of experience in the cannabis industry. Cannabis has many reported therapeutic benefits, and allowing cannabis businesses to operate in Wyckoff will have a positive impact on the town. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding what I've said, I'd be happy to address them at the following Township Committee meeting, and I can also be reached via email at ealvar1097@gmail.com. Thank you again for your time and attention, and congratulations, Mayor Boonstra, on being reelected.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. Do you have a copy of that?
No, and it's all scribbled, but I can send you one.
Could you email one to Nancy so we have it on file?
I can.
Your comments?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wish to comment?
Good evening to all of you townspeople, and congratulations, Mayor. We're very happy to have you back.
Thank you.
And my name
I'm only
is.
mayor for another 7 weeks, so,
Oh, okay.
or 6 weeks.
All right.
Unless he sees a shadow.
That's true.
My name is Janet Toomey, and I live on Spring Meadow, 501 Aspen Lane in Spring Meadow community. And thank you very much for your input. And I have a little input too. I understand you graduated in 2019, Ms. Alvarez, right? 2019. Oops. So she's had 3 years experience, right? 3 years? Yeah, experience since she graduated. And that's very wonderful. I'm sure it sounds like it's very good experience. But I've had more experience with marijuana. I happen to be, besides being a nurse practitioner, I happen to be a retired alcohol and drug counselor, and which was a very difficult certification for me to get in New Jersey, but I am. And I never was a professional one. I never got money for anything I ever did. I was always free. And I also taught in the Ridgewood public schools, and I taught drug and alcohol too. But there are many aspects of cannabis that are very difficult for everybody to understand, particularly if it has some very good purposes, which Ms. Alvarez told us about. But I've had many, many years, and I've been in drug rehab places in order to get my certification. So I've met many young people who have always started with cannabis in their progression into other drugs, including heroin, etc. And almost every drug counselor will say it starts with marijuana. That's what they will say. And I learned that that's very true in many cases, maybe not all, but in many, many, many cases. And we all know that driving is very much affected by cannabis. And young people and cannabis really don't mix. And there is a very much of a relationship in that. A lot of driving violations were found with people with cannabis. Now, I know there is regulations about age. I know there's regulations about what it's used for. And I'm wondering why they can't be dispensed in a regular drug setting, in a drugstore or other setting. And I assume that this is what they consider to be a very tight drug setting. But things happen to go awry. And the fact that somebody would have to go out of town to get cannabis in another town, it's very easy to get in the other towns, as you know. And so what? I just don't think we ought to support a drug that young people up to now have used very liberally, gotten into a lot of trouble with. And we know that it is a relaxant. We know that it is and it's not addictive. I know that. They always say that it's not addictive. And but it has many, many, many downsides. So I think we all ought to read a little bit about that, and I think that that should be presented very seriously to you before you make I'm sure what I think is an economic decision in favor of this. So thank you very much for listening to me, and if you want more information, it's really very readily available in the police department too, because I picked up some information
I
not too
want to
long
just
ago.
add, like, I appreciate what everybody's saying. The marijuana now that you get on the street is not the same marijuana we used in high school. So I am 100% in favor of the legalization of marijuana, because I would rather that my children get legal marijuana than get marijuana laced with fentanyl off the street. We didn't have to, when I was 16, we didn't have to worry about that. We got whatever our friends got and used it, and we were fine. There was a New York Times article recently, I'm sure everybody saw it, about 3 young working professionals who got drugs from their local drug dealer. It was laced with fentanyl. We're talking about an attorney, a social worker, and a nurse. And they all died because they got street drugs. So making marijuana legal has also made it much, much safer for people who want to use it, whether it's, and there is an age requirement, but as we all know, teenagers use alcohol, they use marijuana, they are going to do this. And I am 100% in favor of doing it the safe way, and not the way my kids could go to a party and end up dead because it's laced with fentanyl. It's just, things have changed in the last 5 or 10 years.
Thank you, everyone,
Okay.
for your comments.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. It still is a pretty potent drug. And
But
it
it's
does,
legal.
I don't
It's legal in
want
New
to engage
Jersey.
in it.
Okay.
There'll be another time for discussion possibly.
That's
whether
true.
we're going to change
that's true.
the way we view this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to get into it tonight.
Okay,
Back and forth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I didn't intend to speak, but the opportunity arose, and I thought there is another side, though. And it's cumulative in the person's system. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you all for your comments.
You're welcome.
Anyone else on the Township Committee wish to comment? I don't want to prolong this, but.
No,
No.
I think we commented last meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Seeing none, no one from the public, I'll make a motion to close to the public.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
Mayor Boonstra?
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the November 1st, 2022 Township Committee work session and regular business meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra?
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda, Nancy, please.
All matters listed below are considered by the Township Committee to be routine in nature. There'll be no separate discussion of these items. If any discussion is desired by the Township Committee, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Several resolutions. Reappoint CDBG representatives, authorize contract for CDL mandate compliance, amend a resolution 22-261 for non-participant sewer laterals, authorization of vouchers and payment of bills, close complete capital grant receivables and authorizations, and return of certain overpaid taxes, escrow monies, fees, etc. We have no ordinances for introduction, and we have 3 motions for tonight. One is to approve the Wyckoff Chamber of Commerce's request to hold their Santa event and tree lighting here at Town Hall on Friday, December 2nd, 2022, with a rain date of Monday, December 5th. This event also includes Santa being driven on a fire truck, which makes several stops at shopping centers in town. The second is to approve and memorialize the request by the Zabriskie House trustees to post 5 sandwich board signs on private property which advertise their holiday open house, which begins November 21st up to and including the date of the event, December 3rd. And the third is to approve and memorialize Paige S. Alvarez as a firefighter with Fire Company Number 1, effective November 14th, 2022. We have a motion and a second to approve
I
this
just have one
consent
point of order, Mayor.
agenda.
Yes, Mr. Madigan.
I didn't realize when I read it, I don't think any of us did, but obviously the sandwich board said November 21, 2022,
Oh, oops.
Right.
and up to including December 3, 2022.
Oops, thank you. I'll make a correction
Probably the
to
same
the
dates
minutes.
as last year.
And I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra?
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved. We have one ordinance for public hearing further consideration on tonight's agenda. It's ordinance number 1971, which is an ordinance amending salary ordinance number 1963 and fixing the rate of compensation of certain town hall employees of the Township of Wyckoff for second reading by title only. And a copy of this ordinance has been posted on our municipal website, on the bulletin board in Town Hall where notices are customarily posted, and copies have been made available to members of the general public of the Township who have requested the same.
I move the ordinance on second reading by title only.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Abstain.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra?
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
This is the time and place for the public hearing on ordinance number 1971. All persons who wish to be heard, please state your name and address before making your statement. If you wish to comment from remotely, please dial 201-891-7000, extension 2220. If you're here, please step up to the microphone.
Seeing and hearing no one, I move that the public hearing on ordinance 1971 be closed.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra?
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved. Be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Wyckoff that ordinance number 1971, after public hearing and further consideration, is hereby adopted, and the municipal clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the notice of final passage of said ordinance in the official newspaper for the Township as provided by law.
I move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Abstain.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra?
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Take a motion to adjourn the business meeting.
Motion to adjourn the business meeting.
Second.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Ms. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Boonstra.
Yes, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
You're the man, man.
Yeah, okay.